What's up, guys? It's the Double Chin Show.
What's up? It's Dan.
It's Mike.
It's Cheryl.
So today we're talking about a very controversial topic.
Oh yeah.
And because we've had internal conversations about this, and we felt like we need to address it.
Definitely. And actually, when you brought it up to me, I was like, yeah, this is really relevant, and I think it's kind of getting more attention right now, especially like after the Oscars. I mean, I couldn't believe what I saw on stage.
What we're talking about, of course, is racism.
Mm-hmm.
And let's address Asian racism. What happened at the Oscars, a lot of people knows what happened.
Right.
We actually thought we were going to do a video about the Oscars,
Right.
but we're like, you know what? Let's not make it a big thing. But you know what? Let's talk about it. So what happened at the Oscars, most of you know, Chris Rock came out, and the whole Oscars was basically a whole thing about race, about
Absolutely.
African-American actors
Absolutely.
not getting the credit they deserve,
Right.
directors,
Yeah.
people who are in the industry.
Middle of the show, there was one small joke or segment where he brought out
Three Asian kids.
I watched it live, and I at first I was like, what's going on? And then like that thing inside of me where I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no, he's gonna, yeah, it's like a funny Asian bit, right?
I didn't watch this. I didn't watch this.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of people watched it, and it was so short. The three kids came out.
And he called them by their names, which weren't their real names. He gave them
Super
very
stereotypical.
very Asian Chinese-y names.
Basically, they all come out in suits with a briefcase, and they're all just standing there. And at first, they're really cute. They're really cute. And then he makes basically a joke about how Asians are good at taxes and stuff,
Yeah.
whatever, right? Goes away, and usually like that should have been a non-issue, but to me, it definitely was offensive. And I think this is why we should talk about this, because my whole life, I'm 32 years old, I've somehow been conditioned to feel that when there's racism expressed against Asians, that it's okay. That it's okay. It's just it's sort of like gets washed
It's
under the
not
rug.
as like made of a big deal.
Right. There's no big deal.
Yeah.
Like and I'm a victim of this. You know, I watch that and I go wow, I go to myself, I go, wow, that was pretty messed up.
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
Compare these two. All right. If you say a particular word to a black person,
Right.
you could literally be like, that's a hate crime almost.
It's a hate crime now. No, it's not almost. You
Is
could
it?
be trialed as a hate crime.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
if you
But when people say things to us,
Right.
you know,
Absolutely.
the nasty word they say to us,
Yep.
what happens? Like
Nothing.
it's almost like, oh, okay.
Right.
It's all you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, it just passes.
Yeah. This is a
Like,
fact. We're not speculating because it's all happened to us. I've grown up. I've been called those words that we won't repeat here, and I was just kind of like, I mean, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Right? If I ever said those things
you can't.
back, oh my gosh.
Yo, if
Oh
you
my
said
gosh.
that, if you
It
said
would
that,
be-
people around you even be
Oh.
like, what? You can't.
Yeah.
What? You?
not that we would, but it's
No,
just
exactly.
it's,
But that's the difference here, right?
Yeah, two different worlds.
That's the double standard. I think there's multiple reasons why
Yeah.
people feel it's okay to be racist against Asians.
Right.
Because
So-
let's address that right now, though.
Right.
People, I think in general, feel like it's, even though it may not be okay,
Right.
but people feel like in general it's more okay
Absolutely.
to be racist towards Asians. Is that true or false? I think it's true.
I think it's true. I feel like that's sort of the elephant in the room. That's what we're talking about, because a lot of people, there's almost two issues, right? We're gonna talk about the reasons why we think people feel it's more okay, but the fact that the first part is, guys, if you haven't noticed, people are really racist towards Asians in America. Extremely racist.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about some of these reasons why this is happening.
Okay.
Why maybe the racism against Asians isn't as prevalent as it seems as
Right.
it would be to the other races. So I think one of the reasons is Asians in general are conditioned to just put up with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like they have more tolerance. Maybe is that?
Well, yeah, we do, because
Yeah.
we're taught to have more tolerance
Yeah.
from a young age.
Yeah.
And we're taught to be like, all right, if someone, just keep your head down, don't talk back,
Right.
Yeah.
behave.
Right.
Even if it's like, I know, like as I grew up, you're not allowed to talk back to your elders. Like even if some like older person, like they commented something mean to me, I'd be like, oh, they're older than me, so
Yeah.
I have to like
Just take
respect it.
Right.
Right.
Like respect their comment on me, even though it might hurt me or something like that. I'm just like,
I mean, you were saying to me you experienced racism when you were a kid. I
Yeah.
did. You did.
Yeah, of course.
And
I
if you
think
got,
we all did. Probably.
but that's the thing. We all do. But
Yeah.
how many times has our parents gone back with us to sit down with the teacher and talk to the teacher about the boy's parents. I mean, about the boy who's bullying us and also their parents. That never happens.
Right,
Yeah.
because we're taught to, basically we're taught to, at least in this society, we're talking about this society here.
Yeah.
We're not talking about in China, whatever. We're talking about this society in America. We're taught to basically not stand up for ourselves.
Absolutely.
We're taught to, okay, keep your head down. Don't talk. Just be quiet. Do your work. Be a good student. That's all you
Just
gotta do.
School and work and
Yeah.
education.
And I think, I mean, that's in China too, but I think that it comes from the Cultural Revolution, where my grandparents were, you know, basically tortured in the street because they were artists. They were the intellectual group. So imagine that, you know, for 10 years, and also there's suffering before that, we won't get into that, but for those 10 years of the Cultural Revolution, if you have parents that lived through that, it was the worst of times.
Right.
We all know that. So
Yeah.
we're lucky enough to have parents. I feel so lucky to have grandparents who grew up in that situation. I don't feel good for them because they almost killed themselves, and a lot of other grandparents did kill themselves because they couldn't deal with what was
Yeah.
going on. But think about that. That little microcosm, what that does is they teach their kids, your parents, my parents, that don't make a big noise because the communist government, the Red Guards, Mao people will come after you, which they did. So then imagine your parents now, we moved to a brand new setting in America, growing up, same thing. It's like, oh, you get made fun of? Shh, be quiet, little Mikey. Don't worry, we'll get, you know, when you get older, everything will be fine. Just don't say anything. Of course it's like that.
Basically, the message is don't cause trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't cause trouble.
But you're not even causing trouble. You're just getting you're just
I
someone's
know.
being racist against you.
So we never try to even, you know, push back a little
Right.
when this stuff is happening to us. It's almost like people think that, oh, Asians, they'll just take it.
Yeah.
They'll take it, whatever.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something though. When you were getting when you were young and people were being racist towards you, did you like fight back with them?
I did
Yeah.
because I'm like,
You're like,
I
I'm
got
not gonna take it.
muscles
Yeah.
and I'm
No,
gonna
you-
use them.
You didn't have muscles.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about when you were 7 years old, dude.
Whatever.
Okay,
You didn't have muscles when you were 7
but
years old.
I still fought back because I'm
Yeah.
kind of aggressive like that because I'm
Right.
like I'm not gonna put up with you picking on me.
So you fought back with them.
But without telling my parents,
Right.
you know, they wouldn't have supported that.
Right.
Other Asian kids in my school did not.
Right.
So
What about you?
Well, I was a girl, so you can't really fight back when
It's
you're a
just tall.
girl. No, I wasn't tall when I was little. I actually started growing like recently.
But
Not recently.
did
but
you
yeah.
like want to tell your parents? Did you want to tell the teachers?
No, I never really told
So you
anyone.
just took it?
I just took it. I was just like, you know what? I don't really care. Like, I was called very, like, mean names.
But can
I
you
just,
imagine though, like if you're in elementary school and then
Yeah.
someone else goes to a black or a Hispanic or a Native American kid and say something about their appearance because they're that race,
Mm-hmm.
you know their parents will be at the school the next day.
not even their parents. They will be right away like, what'd you say to me? Like,
And then after that, the
Yeah.
parents will come in,
Right.
talk to the principal, talk to the teacher.
because they're told to stand up for themselves.
Right.
Right. We were not.
So that's like huge difference right,
Right.
there. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Another reason I feel like maybe people feel it's more okay to be racist toward Asian without any repercussion is we really don't have a voice.
Absolutely.
In this grand scheme of things, in this society, we don't have a voice. We know. Okay, who do you hear about most whenever there's some racist thing that happens to like a black person? Al Sharpton, Jesse
yeah.
Jackson.
Yep.
Oh, you're gonna stand up and there's a rally.
Right.
Brooklyn Bridge is shut down for like a day.
Right.
What happens when there's a big issue against Asians? Okay, there's no
Well-
Asian go-to person with a voice.
No. There's no organization that can represent you.
We lack someone who's like a marquee voice for us.
Right.
Who's like, okay, whenever something big happens, this person who has a lot of pull,
Right.
it doesn't have to be a politician. Al
Right.
Sharpton's not a politician. Yeah, it has to be. There's nobody who stands out and says, okay, this is not right. Let's organize.
Right.
The Asians who you feel passionate about this topic,
Right.
and let's do something about it. There's none of that organization. There's no people
Right.
to organize this. So, whenever something like that, like anything that happens, it blows over really quickly.
Right, absolutely. And that's definitely connected back to the first one, what you're saying is a lot of Asians are afraid to be the one to say, let's rally people together, because they've seen what happens when you do that, because like, come on, 1989, you're talking about students that rallied
Yeah. I
against
think
the
it's
government.
'cause, like, China, like, back then, they have that history of
Absolutely.
not being able to be, like, free of
No.
expressing themselves or, like, being free to, like, stand up for some
That's
of their
that's
certain
another reason,
rights.
yeah. And then piggybacking on what Mike said, so the third point I like to throw out is because there's so little lack of representation in the government
Right.
and in the media, so that when let's just say you wanted to be that guy, right? You cannot get your voice out there because your issues are put so low because there's not a lot of you. So they're kind of tied together. Not a lot of politicians. I'm not saying like politicians will change everything. No, I'm not into politics, but there isn't sort of like that power in that movement because again, like in China, when that happened, those people got shot.
I'll tell you why what we're saying before goes into another reason, another point, which I feel like is really, really important in the fact that we have little to no voice.
Right.
Is that let's talk about occupation.
Yeah.
What are Asians mostly going into occupation-wise? Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Let's not. Okay, this is a stereotype, but it's also kind of true.
It's
we
absolutely
kid about
true.
this. We're like, oh, Asian parents want us to be accountants, doctors, lawyers.
They
engineers.
are.
Yeah.
They are.
They are.
So most Asians go to school for this stuff.
Yeah.
How
I'm
many-
actually doing business
Right.
right now.
So
Yeah.
how many Asians go to school to be politicians?
No.
How many Asians go to school because they want to be an actor,
Right.
a someone in the media,
Right.
Yeah.
right? If you look in the media, a lot of prominent
Yeah.
white personalities,
Not
obviously
many
black,
Asians,
Hispanic.
yeah.
Right.
How many?
There's
Who's the
like-
most famous Asian actor in the U.S.? Lucy Liu?
Yeah. Or most famous anchor like Connie Chung.
Well,
She's
come
like,
on, that's like 30 years ago.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So
You're
who
absolutely right.
in the media,
Right.
in the government, how many government reps are Asian?
Right.
Not a lot.
But I think the reason for that it goes back to our parents, because come on, how many times have you wanted to do something right, and your parents basically shoot you down because they're like, you need to get a job in these areas
Right.
because
Be
you
realistic.
Be realistic. This is where the jobs are.
Don't have a passion.
Don't have a passion or ambition.
Like you're rare.
I'm
If you
so
majored in theater, which is unheard of,
unheard.
Wow.
and your parents supported you because they were
Yeah.
artists.
Yes.
Most
absolutely.
Asian parents, if you tell your Asian you want to major in theater, 90% or more of Asian parents be like,
They're gonna reject.
I'm gonna
you.
here, come to this room. We're gonna smack the idea out of you first.
Like, go do business. Go study law.
Go,
Yeah.
law, business, medical profession, those,
Yeah.
accounting. Those are basically financial Wall Street, right? Those are
Yeah.
basically the ones where the
My
jobs are.
brother's doing dentistry right now.
Hey, it pays.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
pays. So I think that the environment that we grew up in doesn't foster one where you can sort of quote unquote chase your dreams. So you become more confined. So when that happens, think about it, right? You're confined when you're young. When you're 30 something, you're not gonna all of a sudden be like, yeah, I'm gonna go run for office. That would never happen. So how could someone like you, where you're the perfect age now to get into politics, you need a track. There's no track for Asians to get into politics or
when okay,
you know,
let's
whatever.
look at some of these families, right? They're
Yeah.
like, oh, my kid, they haven't planned out. They're like,
Oh,
my kid's gonna go
absolutely.
to prep school.
Oh,
then he's gonna go to Yale. Then he's gonna go to law school.
Yeah.
Then he's gonna run for Congress in the 13th district.
Right.
And then he's gonna be president. That's literally some families. That's how they're
Oh,
done.
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I'm not
It's a
saying
privilege.
that's like everybody. That's
Right.
mainly like whites. Other people are like, you know what? I want to grow up and make a difference and be president. Like black people
Yeah.
think like that. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Hispanics. How many Asians think like that?
Think about their heroes, Martin Luther King. You know, think about people who made an impact in the world,
Right.
right? Whites have heroes, blacks have heroes. Who's our hero? Who's our hero?
Well, that brings
In America.
That brings you remind me of another point.
All right.
There's another point I feel like
Right.
it contributes to all this stuff. There's not a lot of historical study on Asia in the U.S.
Absolutely.
Like, what do you learn? What did we learn in school in the U.S.? We learned a lot about Martin Luther King. A lot. We learned,
Which is important, obviously. We're not saying that that's
No,
not
it's
important.
It's important.
But,
we learned about
yeah.
Martin Luther King. We learned a lot
Civil
about
War, in terms of
well,
history.
Civil War. We learned about the discrimination against women. We learned
Women's
about all
suffrage,
this stuff.
Yep.
When is the last time you learned anything about?
I feel like, cause in school, I know that there's classes on like American history
Right.
or like Western Civ, or like all these other places, but there's not much about Chinese civilization or like I don't
Well,
know.
even
like,
about contemporary history.
Yeah.
The Chinese people were basically shipped here to work on the railroad.
Yep.
yeah,
Right.
China is
Like-
kind of like not very noticed. I feel like.
Well, even
It's
even
like-
the persecution that these Chinese people that came here, they were basically, they could shoot them, they could do anything they wanted,
yeah.
and a lot of them died.
Yeah.
But there's how much did you learn about that?
Actually, zero.
None.
And
I just learned
yeah.
about like slavery and then how they shipped the slaves and
Yeah.
how so many people died.
Oh, of
I
course.
mean, that's really sad. I mean,
Right.
like, why would they? This
I mean,
sad.
we should learn about all of it.
All of it.
We're not saying you shouldn't learn about these
Exactly.
things. We should learn about all of it.
Let's learn whatever sad part of the history. Okay, we learned about what we did to Native Americans.
Right.
Not probably the whole picture because that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
A lot about Black history. But not even a percentage
Right.
of Asian history.
I totally agree with you, and I always like to play. It's not even devil's advocate, but I like to give you a little bit about. Of course, that's another reason people say as well is we're not learning about these things because Chinese Americans, Asian Americans, Korean Americans, Japanese Americans have not been in the country for as long as, say, around the 1600s, right? I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying the reason could be
What about
because
Hispanics?
no, but right, there's definitely not a lot of Latin history being taught at all.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying we're talking about the Asian thing. Again, it's not defending it, but that's probably the reason why. But those events, to me, you have to talk about those. Here's what I learned in American history about anything that has to do with Asia. The Japanese internment camps during World War II. I didn't learn. It was like one paragraph.
Yeah.
Literally
They
one
just
paragraph.
mentioned that it happened.
Yeah, and then
the date, right?
And then it goes. America dropped 2 atomic bombs on 2 Japanese cities. That's it. Like that's it. So even if I wanted to find out more, now we can. We go to Wikipedia, whatever. You can learn more. But growing up, you don't learn about that stuff. So I think that you should learn about all of it. The curriculum should be revisited, and that will actually help build awareness. We're lacking awareness. I think what you hit on is awareness. Stuff happens, man. It's not like it doesn't happen. It happens, but no one's talking about it.
There was actually a textbook that I remembered that I studied a while ago, and it actually had a paragraph that mentioned the persecution of Falun Gong in it.
Yeah.
And that was pretty interesting.
In America?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I actually
That-
saw
what?
that.
That's awesome. I
interesting.
mean,
Yeah.
that's really surprising
Yeah,
to me. I think one reason I want to point out, I feel like this is happening. We grow up and we don't suffer a lot in terms of like, if you look at most Asians, there's a term for it. They call them kind of like model minorities because when you get to a certain age as an Asian, you pretty much have a good job. You have a stable family. You're living all right. I'm not gonna say you're living rich or super comfortable, but you're living all right. You generally don't need assistance from the government. So there is a perception out there where people are like, well, you guys don't suffer that much, so you can't complain. Doesn't make it right to be racist against anyone.
Right.
And even whites.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be racist against whites.
Exactly.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Just because they are the majority, no, you should not. So
Right.
But do you see that though? Do you feel like that's
I feel like maybe some people might think that they're like, oh, you were. But here's my question though. I don't really. I mean, I heard what the concept you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't really agree with it.
No, I
Here's
don't
why.
agree with any of it,
Because
yeah.
in modern society, everyone has a fair shake in terms of like doing whatever they want to do in terms of making their lives better.
Absolutely.
Right? All right. So why is anybody discriminated because of that?
A lot of young Asians, no matter where you grow up, there are plenty of Asians who grew up in very poor neighborhoods, right? But then they go to good colleges. There's a reason for that. We can talk about it or whatever. But when they grow up, you don't even know that they came from a really bad background.
Yeah.
But for other races, it's a point of emphasis. I don't think it's a bad thing that you emphasize where you came from. I'm just saying like people just almost forget about that. Asians, it's not like they all grew up in like a white picket fence backyard.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's a lot of poverty where we come from.
Yes.
We had difficult lives too before we came here.
Absolutely. But a lot of people are like, oh, that's nothing compared to what we went through.
How do you know?
Wait, yeah, how do you? Okay.
You should like learn about a
Yeah.
person before you make such a big decision on the person.
Exactly. Like I'm not sitting here comparing childhood backgrounds.
Yeah.
Some people will be like, did you have to dodge gum bullets? I go, no, I didn't have to dodge gum bullets, but it doesn't make the fact that you call me a really derogatory term okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to get shot at so that to say that I don't want to be called that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I definitely think that there's a double standard, and what we're doing right now, just awareness. You know what I'm saying? Make it. I don't want to see like just like a bunch of Asians now basically crying like anytime anything happens like we're just I don't want to see that.
No, we're not about
Yeah.
that. But here's the reality. What we mentioned today, I feel like, look at this. This is just the reality right now. And if we don't have a voice almost anywhere. But you know what? A lot of Asians on YouTube. I'll give you that.
A lot of Asians,
Asians on YouTube.
Do you think it's the landscape right now is how is it? Is it changing? Is it going to be better?
I feel like
How do you
we're
feel like?
trying to change it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's our generation and maybe our kids' generation that's gonna make a big difference.
Yeah.
Like we talked about Fresh Off the Boat, first Asian sitcom that a couple years ago. I feel like more visibility about Asian culture, about Asians in general, helps.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think moving forward, we will see huge changes.
And actually, right now, like fashion-wise, Asia has a very big impact
Absolutely.
on the fashion in New York and all over the world.
Yeah, and you can learn Mandarin now. It's not
Which
just
was never the case
never
before.
the
Yeah,
case.
never the
It's widely taught. Like I'm not even surprised anymore when young non-Asians I meet, they're like, oh, I study Mandarin. I'm like,
Yeah, I feel like that's because there's more things in the society now than just like bad kung fu movies.
oh,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Or bad Chinese food.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's more prevalent also because there's Asians are like the number one growing
Yeah, absolutely.
immigrants in the U.S.
Okay. Let's not get confused though. It's growing, but it's nowhere near
Fastest
as big.
growing.
Fastest
It's
growing,
not
yeah.
number one. It's just
It
the fastest growing
pales
right
in
now.
comparison to actual numbers of Asian immigrants in America to minorities, right? Yeah.
So we're steadily building a stronger presence here, and I feel like that's what we try to do with our channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why we have a channel dedicated to, a lot to Asian culture and whatever, because we want to let people know about what's going on out there, and we're not, I don't feel like we condone in terms of like, oh, let's get together and go chant somewhere
Absolutely
and all that stuff.
not.
That's not what we're
Absolutely
about.
not.
We're
Yeah.
about like understand us.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, Asians, we need to, when things happen that are not fair to us, speak up.
Absolutely.
I feel like we should.
But I think it's definitely changing a lot, especially with the way we consume entertainment. I mean, you mentioned YouTube. I mean, YouTube is plastered with Asian stars from every Asian, Indian, Chinese, Korean, Middle Eastern, everything, right? So eventually, when the people that are our age and younger, actually basically younger than us, start only really consuming video online, then you'll see a lot more exposure to those things. And I hope that those stars and YouTubers like us, keep that stuff in the conversation, which they do, which I like. But
I do want to say, like, I met some that were like, you know what, we just want to be accepted by everybody, so we're not going to talk about. I know there's some YouTubers who are like, I don't even want to talk about my nationality because I'm Asian, but
Yeah, I
I
think
don't want to talk about that because I just want to be considered a YouTuber. Okay, that's your prerogative, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like as Asian influencers, we do have a. I mean, I feel like, this is personal opinion. No one has to agree with this.
Yeah.
We have an obligation to talk about our culture
Yep.
and the issues that's going on in modern society, because who else is talking about it?
We're changing it right now. Like, people know that we're Asian Americans. We grew up some of you guys actually literally grew up in China and America, and a lot of people we know. So we have sort of a melting pot of both worlds, and we can talk about a lot of issues. So hopefully we could be that bridge that creates awareness about the past, the present, and the future in a positive way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, guys. So that's a video we've been wanting to make for a while, to sit down and really talk about this issue. It's something that's difficult to address, but
Yep.
and we probably didn't do the best job, but we tried to convey what we're feeling.
Yeah, we're always going to do that. This is a serious topic. It should be talked about. But of course, we're also going to entertain you guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and definitely
Thank
check
you.
out Cheryl's channel.
Yeah,
she's
Inspiration TV.
future top model.
No, I'm still working on it. Still working on it.
We should go out for that.
I think we'll get kicked out in like 20 minutes.
America's Next Top Model.
No, I mean just be like male
We're
models.
not-
Like Zoolander, male models.
Well, actually,
You
if
know what
Zoolander can do it, we can do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, look at us. Look at us.
All right, we're gonna take off before he takes us too big of a hole. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.
See you
later.
Bye.